What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Danny Sylvan Vlog. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy you were able to find this video, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm always happy to have you. So this video is going to be the first video in a series that I'm calling on here Real Talk, and basically what this series is us having real discussions about real things, generally geared towards different relations that we have and some of the complications that come with the relations that we have on a day-to-day basis. These are life lessons that I've learned, things that I've experienced, and things that upon reflection I have takeaways from. So it's just kind of things that I've experienced in my young life, little nuggets that I would love to share with you and really get real. If you're not looking to get a little mushy and dig deep inside yourself and kind of be real honest with yourself, this might not be the video for you right now. But if you're willing to go on that journey and have real talk and real discussion, be sure to continue watching. Let's get into this video. So for this very first video of the Real Talk series, the topic that we'll be talking about is forgiveness and releasing resentment. Now, I know something like forgiveness can be so taboo to talk about. I mean, you hear about it, for those of you who are believers, you hear about it in the Bible, you hear about it in all the therapy sessions you may go to and or may not go to. And it's something that it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. You're supposed to forgive. In life, you're supposed to forgive. You're supposed to release resentment, all of that. But really diving into what that means and what that can do for your life, I think is super important. When you don't forgive somebody, you're basically giving them your power because they have complete control of your emotions. Like, take that in. If you've gotten to a point where you have so much resentment towards someone and have not taken the time to forgive them and go through that process of forgiving them, then that could be represented and seen in when they walk into the room, your whole demeanor has changed. When they walk into the room, your whole mood has gone from like, yes, I'm turning up, you know, I'm doing my thing, to, oh my gosh, why is that person here? I can't stand them, I hate them, I don't want them here. The fact they have the audacity to show their face here, how dare they, ray-tay-tay, all this stuff. And it's like, they're there living their best life, you know, paying you no mind, but you're over here getting boiled up and angry about them just walking into the room. Do you see how that could be unhealthy for you? Do you see how that is an example of you giving them power over you and your emotions? It's not good. It's not good. When it comes to forgiveness, I've learned that it's not so much about the other person. It is definitely more about me. I need to forgive them so that I can move on with my life, you know? I need to forgive them so that they no longer have power over my emotions, over my mood, over anything. They are just somebody who has hurt me, who has disappointed me, who has disrespected me, who is probably hurting themselves in a major way if they got to the point of doing all those hurtful things to me. That grew from something, so hurt people, you know what I mean? Hurt people are going to hurt other people. You have to kind of shift your thinking of, oh my gosh, they've disappointed me, they hurt me, I can't believe they did this to me, to, well, I wonder what they're going through. You know, for them to have the audacity to do the things that they did to me, I wonder what they're personally going through. And through that, you can have sympathy for somebody who has completely crossed you, because it's like they're probably going through something just as horrible. They've probably been damaged in their own personal life, and the way that they're expressing it is to hurt you, which is not fair. And there's no excusing what they've done, But having that perspective can definitely shift how you start your healing process. Now, when I say forgiveness and releasing resentment, it doesn't mean that you don't hold somebody accountable for their actions. It doesn't mean that you just forget what they've done. Never. I actually caution you, never forget how somebody has hurt you. That, to me, again, my personal opinion, my personal experience, is a big mistake, because if you forget what they've done to you, if you forget the way that they hurt you, how they hurt you, their tactics in hurting you, the manipulation, emotional abuse, mental abuse, if you just disregard those things and just forget about them, that's going to allow somebody else to commit those same crimes, emotional, mental crimes, to you again, because you've forgotten about it. You haven't held on to, these are some warning signs, these are some things that I went through, and if I see this in somebody else, I need to cut it off before they even get a chance to hurt me again. You know what I mean? So never forget how somebody has hurt you and the things that they hurt you with. And depending on the situation, definitely hold them accountable to what they did. Whether that's pressing charges, using the legal system to get some sort of justice for yourself. If it's as extreme as that, that's a thing that you should do to hold them accountable. Or it's just as simple as having a conversation. You hurt me. You hurt my feelings. You really, damaged this part of me, and I didn't like it, and I don't want it to happen again. Or, it depends on the situation. If you're talking to someone who you considered a friend who hurt you, it's a little bit easier to, kind of cut them out of your life than it is, say, family. So if it's family that hurt you, that might be worth having the conversation and holding them accountable and being like, you're gonna be in my life still, and this can't happen again. This level of hurt that you've caused to me, it can't happen again. So we need to figure this out. So that's what I mean when I say holding accountable. But, actually releasing that resentment towards them is huge. And never forgetting is huge as well. Speaking of different type of abuse, I, in my personal life, about 10 years ago, experienced a situation where I was being extremely emotionally, mentally, and verbally abused by an individual. And it was at a point in my life where I still had a lot of learning to do. I was very young still. And it was a kind of situation where basically my kindness was taken advantage of. And that was something that happened earlier in my life. That was something that I've been experiencing since like elementary school, of people, kind of taking advantage of my kindness. People who knew that if they asked me to do something, I would do it, and they would squeeze that sponge until it's completely rained out, as far as how much more can I get from Danny? How much more can I gain from him? Kind of taking advantage of, like, I gave you like a rice grain and you're asking for a whole bowl of that thing. So it was like very, very much, I've always experienced that, but never to this degree and this level. Long story short, this person was going through a really tough situation at the time. And when I say really tough, I mean like it was something that someone their age and their living space and environment should not have been going through. So I sympathized for this person. In hindsight, I actually don't even know if the story that they told me they were going through was actually true. Like, it was a bit of a mystery for me. I don't know if it was fabricated or if it just straight up was a lie. I don't know, but I was very emotionally invested in this person as far as making sure that I was there to help them through this time. I was there to help to take care of them and make sure that they're okay and check in on them. these days, I'm a little bit, and this is a part of the lesson, I'm a little bit more cautious of who I willingly just give my love and care to, because getting all of that taken advantage of is extremely damaging. And at that point in my life, I was like, if someone says they need me, I don't really care who you are. If you say you need me, if you're vulnerable with me, if you've opened up to me, like, I'm yours. Like, as far as, and that's just like on a platonic friendship level, anybody around me, I'm like, you know, I'm there for you, I care for you. So yeah, I'm here. And I've had to learn that someone has to earn that from me. Don't just give that away. Give it away as long as it's earned, you know? So that was something that I had to learn. But anyway, back to the actual story at hand. This person, like I said, was going through this rough patch, and I made sure that I was there for them, like available 24/7 for them. And it got to a point where my kindness was taken advantage of. It got to a point where they saw how far they can push me and realized that they can push me pretty far. Empty threats were used often, just reverse psychology was used often, manipulation was used. They used all the typical tactics and tricks of an abuser, someone who abuses mentally, verbally, and emotionally. They never once put their hands on me. I was never physically abused. However, they definitely threatened it. They definitely threatened it. So it was really, really crazy, and that experience resulted in a lot of damage. A lot of damage for me. It was something that I found was presenting sore spots in many different areas of my life, in the many different relations that I had yet to make and yet to face and experience in my life. And it was a huge block for me in my life. And I remember having such a resentment towards this person for how they treated me and the things that they said to me and did to me and put me through, when I was just there simply trying to care for them, when I genuinely had love for this person. So it was really, really mentally messed up, and it took me a very long time. And that's the thing with forgiveness. I think as long as you're working on it consistently, there's no real start and end time. It's not like, okay, so this person hurt me, you know, in November, and by June the next year, I should have forgiven them, like it should be behind me. That's not how forgiveness works. But as long as you're continuously trying to work through those emotions and continuously trying to grow and get your power back from the situation, then you're doing fine. But don't sit in that resentment, because what happened to me was I sat in it, it was presenting itself in other areas of my life, and it was horrible. It prevented me, I feel, from a lot of different opportunities, from building different connections, because I was holding on to the things that this person represented, and anything that I saw in them of anybody else, before I could even give them the chance, I was like, nope. Not gonna engage in it. We're not gonna be friends. We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna, you know, nothing. Because I was like, you remind me too much of this person, or, you know, this person used to say that all the time, so I'm not gonna, if you're saying that, I'm not gonna, you know, talk to you. It was a bit at a point where I was like, what is happening to me? Like, this is getting too much. So I started the journey of it was years after, because I still held on to this resentment for years. And it was years after that I was like, this is getting too much. I need to start healing myself and going through forgiving them, because even then I knew the first process of my healing was going to be to forgive this person. So I had to accept that, you know, not everybody who reminds me of this person or who carries the same, whether it's physical appearance, whether it's the same swagger, attitude, demeanor, like they're not all this person. They're not all this individual. So I had to first come to that. I had to, you know, dig deep and figure out what exactly about the whole situation really bothered me, like what really hurt me. And once I did that kind of process, I had to start to then be like, okay, little by little, I'm gonna forgive this person for this. When this person said this to me, I forgive them, because you know what? That was their insecurity that they were projecting onto me. And I acknowledged that. I was like, okay, Danny, really think about it. When they said this, what do you think they really meant that? I mean, you know, look at you, listen to you, like, you know that that's not true. So what was that all about for them? And once you start to kind of go through that process, and it's like, okay, I forgive that comment, and I forgive them doing this to me, and I forgive them doing that to me, before you know it, you're like, I forgive them. I don't hold any resentment towards them. And when I really knew that I forgave them was when I was no longer nervous to confront them, had I ever gotten the chance to see them. And when I say confront, I don't mean like in a confrontational, like, what you did to me was hurtful and you did this and you did that, and not in that sense, but in, if I ever were to run into them, what would I say? For years, I was like, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would say. Like, would I throw hands? Okay, would I throw hands at this person? Will I stop and cuss them out? Will I be too scared and turn the other way? Will I, you know, pretend as if I don't know them? Will I acknowledge, like, what will I do? And when I got to the point where I was like, I don't care. Like, when I got to the point where I was like, if I were to see them tomorrow, I don't really care what I would do. I trust that I would do whatever feels right. I trust that I would do whatever's best for me, and knowing that I've forgiven this person and knowing that I no longer hold resentment towards this person. You know what I mean? So, funny enough, fairly recently, last year, I actually did see this abuser, and it was in a situation where we happened to be at the same place at the same time, and we did have to interact with each other at that place at that time. And I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? But nothing. You know what? The person could barely even look me in my face. And it was at that point where I was like, wow, so you know what you did to me, you know the hurt that you caused me, and you feel really guilty about it. And I don't feel anything towards you. I'm not saying, ha, good, like, you should feel like that, da 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 da. I was like, I wish you the best. Like, I didn't say that, but that was how I was feeling. Like, I wish you the best. And I hope that all the demons in your closet and the things that you were going through that you felt the need to project onto me, I hope that you're dealing with those things. I hope that you're going through the process of healing for yourself. That was growth. That was crazy. I was like, I cannot believe that I just basically like faced my abuser again after all these years, and we're good. Like I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't know about them. I'm good. So yeah, there was power. And I was like, before that, I knew that I was on the process or on my way to getting my power back from that person. And in that moment, I was like, wow, Danny, your power is back. So at this point in the video, you may be wondering, okay, Danny, nice story. Glad you went through that and you came out a better person, but how do I even start my process of forgiving and releasing resentment? How do I even start my process of gaining my power back? To me, the first thing that I had to do was get through my anger, because I was angry. And that could take a little bit of time, you know? Call them in your head all the names that you want to call them, and work through how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way, and how dare they have done that to me. That's completely normal, that's completely natural, that's fine, and I think is important in that healing process, in that process of forgiveness. So do that. Once that's done, start to acknowledge the fact that however they treated you, for you to be hurt by them, disappointed by them, whatever, has to do with them and not to do with you. Because you didn't elect yourself to be treated that way, they treated you that way. They did those things to you. That's a them problem and not a you problem. You were a victim of their mess, but you're a victim. You're somebody who experienced this. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with how you look, how you talk. Whatever you went through is going to be an insecurity of theirs. And that's important to remember as well. Once you've done that, you can really start to slowly but surely pick apart the situation and ask yourself what you need out of it and what you need to do. Whether it's like writing a letter to them and then ripping it up, or journaling about it. Like, there's gonna be things that you need to do to release the resentment, and you kind of have to figure out what your best tactic is. And when you get to a point over time where you're no longer fearful, angry, disappointed, emotionally attached to the situation, to the extent of it is changing your demeanor, it is changing your mood, it is changing how you want to face the rest of your day, then you know that you've forgiven them. You're in a pretty good place. If you find like, okay, I'm going through the process, things are going great, and then you find one of your friends is like, oh, so how's so-and-so? What's going on with so-and-so? And you're like, why would you bring them up? Why would you bring them up? You know that I don't like them. You don't like to talk to them. You haven't forgiven them. Take it back, okay? Take it back, because you still have some healing to do. But if, you know, this person mentions them, you're like, I wish them well. Genuinely. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they are. I don't know. But all I know is I wish them well. You're in a good place. So just check in with yourself and be sure to work through that. Also, not everybody can do these things alone. So if you find that you're trying to do these things and it's just not working, you're still angry and you're tired, you're exhausted of being angry, you're exhausted of holding this resentment, you know you don't want to hold it, but like it's just not going away with all of the things that I just said, seek professional help. There's no shame in that. Talk to somebody, a therapist, talk to a counselor, get some help, because it's not impossible. I promise you it's not impossible. It's just the tactics that I just outlined might not be working for you. So get some professional help. No shame in that. It's about what's best to heal you. It's about what's best to get you on the journey of forgiveness and healing and releasing the resentment. So if you need professional help, do that. All right, y'all. So that is all that I have for today. That is our first real talk. I am curious to know what your tactics are when it comes to healing and releasing resentment. This is a safe space. Feel free to share with me any experiences that you might have gone through where you knew that you were hurt, you knew that you were abandoned or disappointed, and you had to find it within you to heal and forgive and release that resentment, and what you did to do that, because you never know, it could help somebody watching this when they read in the comments and they're like, oh wow, okay, I'm going through a similar situation, or I've been through a similar situation and I'm still hurt by it, but if you did that and that helped you get through it, maybe it'll help me too. You know what I mean? So let's get talking, let's talk real, and let's continue the conversation of forgiveness and releasing resentment. I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you felt anything resonate with you. And if you did, share this video. You never know who it can help. I mean, little old me, I don't know, but you know, what I said might resonate with someone else if it resonates with you. So share the video. That's it. I will see you next time right here on Danny Sylvan Vlog. Goodbye, friends.